Okay, now that our paint layer has dried, we're going to take some gloss medium, or you can take matte medium. Just depends on whether or not, you know, what finish you prefer, if you like the glossy or the matte. Now we're going to paint a thin layer of this gloss varnish, or gloss medium, over our paint. Because we're going to be using the Distress ink to age the edges of the piece. And Distress ink has a very strange reaction to acrylic paint. It makes it very dull looking and will give you a finish that you're probably not going to be happy with. So we're going to seal the paint with the gloss medium first. Just brushing it on, making sure it's on all of the surfaces. And make sure we do the sides as well. Make sure all of your edges are done. Brush the sides. Make sure we get everything very well sealed. Let that dry for a little bit. It doesn't take very long if you put a nice thin layer on it. And if you want to, you can hit that with your heat gun to make it dry faster. You don't have to wait as long. Now while that's drying, I'm going to show you what we're going to do around the edges. For this piece, I start out around the edge darker, and I blend it in with the paintbrush. I don't do the center, just do the edges to give it that nice kind of aged look, as you can see. That's what we're going to be working on. This is pretty dry now, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a little dish, take some of our gel medium. Doesn't take very much, a little goes a long way. I've got about a quarter size. Take your Distress ink. This is Vintage Photo. It's a very nice color. I put maybe 3 drops and mix that around. It makes a nice dark patina that you can brush onto the edges of your piece. Now if you start brushing this on, you think, well, this is just too dark, you can add more gel medium. Or if you start brushing it on and it looks a little too clear, it's not making a very big impact like you want, then you can add more Distress ink, maybe a drop at a time. So what I'm going to do is going to kind of lightly brush the edges, and then I'm going to stipple to blend it in from there. And then you can use your finger to kind of fade it even more. Get a little more on your brush. Go down your edge. Stipple. And you can use your finger to help kind of fade it better. So you just keep doing that all the way around. Add a little bit on there to your edge. Use your brush to stipple it out a little. Use your finger to smooth it. A little more on your brush. Brush it onto the edge. Use your paintbrush. use your finger to kind of smooth it so you don't have any harsh lines on there. Use your paintbrush to stipple. Use your finger to smooth. And just keep working around. Now if you get done, get all the way around, and you decide that your edge is just a little bit too narrow, you can go through and you can start adding a little bit more. Smooth it, because this stuff dries pretty quickly. So add some, then smooth it in. Add a little bit more. Stipple and smooth it. Add a little bit more. Smooth it. Keep doing that until you're happy with the look. Another thing you can do is instead of just going in a straight line, you can make it to where it comes out a little bit here and goes down, comes out a little bit. Give it a little bit more. It kind of look a little more like it's maybe rust, kind of growing onto a piece. A little uneven, a little bit of organic, not quite so man-made looking. Okay, you can see how uneven that is, and that can make it look even more aged. A little bit goes a long way. You can recommend just putting on a little bit at a time. Stand back and take a look. Because once this goes on, there's no going back. I mean, you can, repaint and start over, basically. But you're kind of going to lose a little bit of your depth. When you do that. I think that looks pretty good. Don't forget to do your edges. For my edges, I just usually kind of brush it lightly across, and that gives it all the aging that it needs. So we're going to put some fabric and stuff on the edges too. So this just kind of gives us a little bit, so that the parts of the side that are going to show through, you can do a little bit of stippling. The edges of your sides will show because we're not going to put that much fabric on it, but we want everything to kind of match, so it looks kind of cute. Do all of your sides, and then we're going to let this dry. You want this to dry thoroughly, because when you start working with putting on your bird and putting on your layers, you want this to be dry. So we're going to set this aside and let it dry, and then we're going to start working on our bird.